my name is Nylily8 and welcome back to my long-term survival world. This is part 2 of my long-term survival world tour 500 YouTube subscriber special, so thank you so much for 500 subscribers here on YouTube. If you haven't seen part 1 of the world tour, you should probably go watch that before you watch this one. Before we jump into part 2, I have a quick little announcement to make. As of a few days ago, I am officially on Odysee. If you don't know what Odysee is, it is a video sharing website that is very similar to YouTube, but in my opinion, it is much better than YouTube. If you didn't already know, YouTube has some pretty crazy goals you have to make to be able to make any money from doing this. So basically, to be able to have memberships, super chats, and shopping on my YouTube channel, I have to have at least 500 subscribers, which I do, and you have to upload at least 3 videos over the course of 90 days, which is pretty easy. But you also have to reach one of the following: 3,000 public watchovers over the course of 365 days, or 3 million public shorts views over the course of only 90 days. And if I want any kind of ad revenue, like from just regular ads you see on YouTube videos or the ads you see when you're scrolling through YouTube Shorts, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and one of the following: 4,000 public watch hours in 365 days, or 10 million public shorts views over the course of only 90 days. So basically, if you want to make any kind of money from YouTube, you have to be very popular. If you're somebody like me, it's going to take many years to reach these goals, which is very disappointing. But as I'm recording this video, I literally just made my Odysee account yesterday, and I'm already eligible for memberships and for people to support my channel by giving me tips. So if you would like to support me in making my Minecraft content, head over to Odysee and become a member, or you can just support my YouTube channel by giving me a tip. Even if it's just $1, it helps a lot. Anyway, I'll stop blabbing on about that. Let's get into part 2 of the world tour. Welcome to my castle. I built this last summer and it is the best thing I've ever built in Minecraft. Honestly, I can't think of a single thing that tops this. I think it's also the biggest thing I've ever built in Minecraft, so honestly, I'm very proud of it. Of course, there is a wall that goes all the way around it, and there is also a willow tree right here. I love willow trees, but if you've ever had a willow tree in real life, you probably know that they are very messy. They leave sticks absolutely everywhere, especially when they get older. But here in Minecraft, I can enjoy the beauty of a willow tree without all the sticks, which I very much enjoy. If I go up these steps here, we lead to the front gate, which is very open. It's not a real front gate. The only real protection I have are these wither roses, which don't do much. There's stairs here on either side to get on top of the wall, and like I said, it goes all the way around the castle. And also down here, there are doors going all the way around the wall that lead you inside the wall, and you can actually walk through it, and there's even little murder holes, as I like to call them. You can shoot a bow and arrow straight through it and hit any mob you like. There used to also be a few custom trees around here. I think there was one there and one over here, and they went all the way around the castle. But unfortunately, a few weeks ago when my hard drive died, I lost about 4 months of progress in this world, and that includes those trees. So eventually I will rebuild them, but they're not there right now. I'll show some screenshots on the screen. And this right here is the main entrance into the castle. Now, even though I built this castle about a year ago now, the interior is still very unfinished. I have all of the rooms marked out and everything, but not all of them are decorated. So I'm just going to do a quick little walkthrough. Immediately we enter into this hallway, which is very undecorated. And right across from the front door is the dining room. I have this about halfway finished, but there's still a few things that I would like to add. Off of the dining room here, there is supposed to be a kitchen, but I never really figured out how I wanted to do that. I wanted to build another part of the basement down here, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Over here, there is supposed to be a living area of sorts, but again, undecorated. Over here, we have some stairs that lead down to a side entrance. See, the main entrance is up there, and then you can enter in here as well. Down there is the basement, which I will get around to later. And before I go upstairs, I want to show you the rest of the lower floors. There is a spiral staircase that leads up there. We'll go up there in a few minutes here. This little walkway is already decorated here, and I love how it turned out. If you're wondering how I got the particles underneath the carpet here, there's just a bunch of ender chests down there. And I put the carpet on top so you can't see them. I think that looks really cool. I like to call this room in here my flower room. This is where I store all of my flowers. All of these barrels are full of them. And I also keep my decorated pot making stuff here. I have my pottery sherds and some bricks. There's also this map that I made in fall of 2022. You can kind of tell here, but I made a lot of the trees in this little town area look like they had fall leaves, and I even put carpets everywhere to make it look like there were leaves on the ground. And I used to have a little maze. Oops. I did not mean to do that. And down here is the other entrance to my basement. This hallway right here, which is very unfinished as you can probably tell, leads down to that other staircase I mentioned earlier. That is the side entrance right there. And down in this hallway I have a sugarcane farm. And down here I have a nether portal and a little bit of a storage system for mob drops. Also over here there are two skeleton spawners that are right next to each other. I've been meaning to make a farm out of this, but I just haven't really gotten around to it yet. I already have a skeleton farm, which I have a lot of bones from, so I don't really need another skeleton farm. This little tunnel right here, which again is unfinished, leads to my storage room, which I showed in part 1 of the world tour. You just come right over here and you exit out from the back of my nether portal and you're in the storage room. This ladder right here leads up to the wall of the castle, so you can also enter storage from the wall, which I think is really cool. First thing to the right when you go about halfway upstairs is this little room right here. This is supposed to be my game room, kind of like an activity room, and I already had it decorated, but unfortunately, again, because of the hard drive failure, it's gone. And upstairs here, above that, I have a bunch of barrels that hold my music discs. I like to collect all of the music discs here in Minecraft, and I have most of them, and I keep them up here in these barrels for safekeeping. On the other end of this room, there is an entrance to one of the towers. There are 2 in total attached to my castle, and both of them have spiral staircases leading all the way up to the top. These towers are a great place to stand and look over the area. You can see the other one over there, which looks exactly the same as this one. And leaving the game room, continuing up these stairs, there's a little reading nook, I guess, right here, with little chairs that are functional. And of course, we continue up the stairs into a little study, I guess, which has another chair. I didn't really know what to do with this area since it's only to connect this room to the stairs. But in here is my bedroom. This is the balcony where I start most Let's Play episodes. And in here I keep a lot of my personal items like shulker boxes and just random tools, all of my extra elytras, just stuff like that. And if I go up these ladders, I have my actual bed. And that's basically the only thing in here. Over here on the other side of my bedroom, I have a library. It's Basically just a room full of books. What more could you ask from a library? There's a little place you can sit over here if you would like, and there's even a balcony. Little couches. And there is also an entrance to the second tower, which, like I said earlier, is exactly the same as the first one. In this little room down here below the library, I wanted to have an enchanting room. It's kind of half decorated. I have a few conduits in here for lighting and some armor stands, but that's about it. When I turn this into an enchanting room, those armor stands will probably leave. And these stairs down here lead us all the way back down to that second entrance. Now this place right over here beyond the farming area is my campground. As you can see, it looks very wintry over here, and that is because after fall of last year, I was kind of planning on doing regular season changes to this little area of my world. But after I changed the season to winter, I never really found time to change it to spring, and now that it's summer, I don't know when the next time I'm going to change this is. Anyway, there is a little building right here. I meant for this to be kind of like your check-in area. You come in here and you figure out which campsite you're going to be staying at. There's not very much decoration inside here. I never really finished it. I replaced all of the grass around here with this green terracotta because it kind of looks like dead grass. I threw a bunch of brown carpet to represent dead leaves. I have dead plants everywhere with the dried up coral, and of course there's a little bit of snow. I really tried to capture what winter looks like most of the time here in Michigan, where I'm from. When the snow first falls, it's really pretty, but after a few days it kind of starts to look like this, a little muddy and gross. But as you can see, here is one of the campsites, and they actually have beds in them, so I'm gonna have a little sleep here in this tent. And if you go all the way around the path in this circle, there are many other campsites, like there's one up there, there's one there, and there's also a couple on the other side there. This right here is the tunnel that leads to my amethyst geodes and my skeleton farm. So if I hop into this minecart right here and press the button, I end up stopping right about here. And right down here are my amethyst geodes. I dug out everything around the budding amethyst to allow for the most growth, and I have 3 of these in this area. There's one right here, there's one over there if I go through that way, and there's also another over there. And as you can probably hear, I keep LAs in the area to make it a little bit easier to collect all of the shards. Sometimes they break and they land on top of the block, and it's a lot easier to have the LA go grab it than to climb around everywhere and grab it all myself. So if you continue down the same tunnel that the amethyst geodes were in, you will reach this bubble elevator. And all the way at the bottom there is my skeleton farm. And before you reach the skeleton farm, there is another little tunnel, which I have decorated a little bit differently. And of course, here is the farm itself. Just a very simple skeleton spawner with a single mob spawner. You can go right down here to kill them. And of course, I have chests all around here to store all of the loot I get from here. There's also a nether portal for easier travel to this location, and an enchanting setup right behind that. Right across from the water elevator that leads to the skeleton farm is the elevator that leads to the Mega Bridge project. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I attempted to build a massive bridge going across this mountain range from that end to that end. And I did already start building this, but unfortunately, because of the hard drive fail that I mentioned earlier, it's gone. I spent so much time collecting all of the blocks that I would need to build it and doing an outline for where the bridge was going to go so that I could really start building it. But then I lost all of that progress and I haven't really touched this area since. Eventually, in the future, I will rebuild all of the progress that I've made towards the mega bridge, but for right now, unfortunately, it's gone. Let's not think about that too much or else I'll get upset. Right over here past the campground is the little area where eventually I would like to build my sniffer sanctuary. And past that, over here all by its lonesome, I have a little park. I built this quite a while ago simply because I was bored, and I think it looks pretty nice down here. I have some boulders, some benches, and even a little pathway through it. And beyond that is this river. This river leads all the way out to the ocean, but it didn't used to. Right about here, there used to be a massive chunk of land connecting this side to this side, but I did a few hours of terraforming and got rid of it and made the water go all the way through here. And just past that, I have this little fishing hut. And when I want to, I grab a fishing rod from inside there and just stand here and fish. Beyond the fishing hut, if I keep following the river this way, I will eventually get to a flower forest. Over here, of course, I have a few different flower farms so that I can get all of the different flowers. I have a bamboo farm, which is very simple and it's kind of small. All of the bamboo goes into this chest right here. And next to that, I have this cactus farm. Right over there, you can see my creeper farm, which of course is not my design. I took that design from Waddles on YouTube. It's a pretty simple design, and I think it works pretty well. Over here, you can see my attempt at a wither skeleton farm. I know it doesn't really look like a wither skeleton farm, but I tried to also make it just a regular mob head farm. I'm not going to go too into detail about my design because it doesn't work. I need to fix it. But this rail system over the ocean goes all the way to a nether portal that leads to my nether fortress. The whole idea was to take wither skeletons from there, transport them all the way across the ocean to here, and then have a charged creeper in here that blows up the wither skeletons and gives me skulls. But it didn't work. And all the way over here, not too far away from my creeper farm, you can see my guardian farm. I built this last summer right before I began building my castle because if you didn't notice, my castle has a prismarine roof, and this is where I got all of that prismarine from. Again, this design is not mine. I took this from Pixel Riffs' Minecraft Survival Guide. I think it was Season 2 he built this. So if you want to build one, that's where I got it. Right in here I have 2 enchanting setups just because if I only had one it wouldn't be even. Right over here I have a lot of empty space. I was going to turn this into something, but I kind of ran out of ideas on what to turn it into, and of course there's the same amount of space on the other side. And right down here is where you go to kill these very loud guardians. This, at the moment, is my main source of experience. The last few things that I have to show you require me going through the nether. Alright, so the first thing here in the nether that is a little bit further away is my snow village. And that is exactly what it sounds like, a village in a snowy plains biome. I grew the very first snowy frog that I ever had in this little pool of water, and this giant pillar of dirt that goes all the way up there to the height limit is where I got the Star Trader advancement, which is right here. It says trade with a villager at the build height limit, which is exactly what I did. And back here in the nether, if I go past the portal for the snowy village, I have my Christmas area. Last Christmas, which was just a few months before I started making videos, I decided to spend the entire month of December building this Christmas area. So as you can see, right as you go through the portal, you are immediately greeted with an igloo. This is a naturally generated igloo that unfortunately does not have a basement. But past the igloo is everything that I build. I have a creeper over there with a Christmas hat. I have a snow golem that does not have a pumpkin on its head. There's presents everywhere, candy canes everywhere, and a little house and a storage area. I also built these penguins everywhere. I think they're super cute. But if we enter into the house here, we have a nice little entryway. And beyond that, of course, we have a living room with my dog here, Snowball. Isn't he so cute? We have a little kitchen over here, and of course we have a cookie jar. Let's see what kind of cookie we get from the cookie jar. I got a crushed elf. Deliciously minty. Upstairs here I have a little bedroom, and I have an attic where I put a bunch of blocks in. And I think I have a basement too. Yes, I do. Down here I have a little snow farm to get snow blocks and snowballs. And I also have some farms down here. I have a wheat farm. Once all of this is grown up, all I have to do is press the button and water will wash everything away and bring all of the seeds and all of the items right to me. Then all I have to do is replant it. Of course I have potatoes too, carrots, and beetroot. Right over here is my storage for the Christmas area. Each one of these little huts has a different category of items in it. Like this has all of my ores and stuff. I completely forgot that I actually have quite a bit of stuff over here. I have 38 deep slate diamond ore and all of that iron. Up here there's also a walkway connecting all of them, so you can access any one of these huts from down below or from up here. And if you have not noticed, it is snowing all the time around here. I built all of these snowflakes in the sky. I don't remember exactly how many of these I built, but I do remember it being about 20 something. And down here, these candy canes are marking out a boat race that I made. And I don't have anybody to race with right now, but I'll show you anyway because it's pretty fun to do by yourself. This is the starting line. If you've never ridden a boat on ice in Minecraft before, basically you go super fast, and it's really fun. I haven't done this in a really long time, so let's see if I can maintain control of my boat. We are zooming through here. Oh my gosh, I'm going so fast. Whoa, I'm gonna run into the wall. This part is challenging because there are many things to run into here. Lots of stuff to slow me down. Wow, I am going so fast right now. Oh my gosh, no! I spun out of control. I'm gonna have to break my boat and get back on the track here. This is another part where it gets real skinny and there's a lot of places to slow you down. We get to go behind the creeper here. Whoa, I'm going so fast. This last part is definitely the most challenging part. There's a lot of obstacles. Almost at the finish line. And we are done. If I can actually make it to the actual line. Done. There we go. I'm just spinning out of control here. Alright, last but definitely not least, we have the End Island. A while back, it was episode 10, I believe, I built an Enderman farm way out here in the void. But as I've said multiple times in this video, I lost it to my failing hard drive. So eventually I will have to rebuild the Enderman farm. Anyway, this is my End Island. I have killed the dragon twice, as you can see by these two portals here. Uh-oh, an Enderman is now mad at me. I did not mean to do that. There we go, got that taken care of. Did I just look at another one? I did. Wow, I'm so bad at this. Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding. I'm just looking at every single Enderman here. I don't really have very much left to show here at the End Islands anyway, so let's go on through this portal before I look at any more Endermen. And of course we are all the way back here at the Christmas area. I don't know how that happened. I broke this bed and then replaced it so that I would spawn back at home. But I didn't. Looks like we're going through the Nether to get home. And that brings us to the end of my long-term survival world tour. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so that you never miss when I upload. Also, don't forget to go give me a follow over on Odyssey if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!